2 minutes to broadcast. One minute till broadcast. "30 seconds to broadcast." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Live from the Hoosier Media Studios. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Hoosier Media Network.
Yes, indeed it is. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. We are making it happen today on a whatever day today is, Wednesday. I don't know. I'm still foggy from all the crazy drugs, actually the lack of drugs when it comes to this cold. I swear to you that I had this coronavirus and it's driving me nuts, man. We are broadcasting live all over Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, plus the Podbean Live app is up and rolling as well. Bear with me if I still sound a little congested, still sound a little crazy. It's because I am, and that's all right. We were going to, and I'm going to try and get a hold of him still. We weren't able to get contact with him, but I am excited at some point in the show, hopefully today, if not, we'll try and get him on tomorrow. But Dr. Stephen Hotz, he is the founder of CEO of Hotz Health and Wellness Center in Houston, Texas. He's also the best-selling author of the book Hypothyroidism, Health, and Happiness, talking about the coronavirus, because I think it's kind of important for us to discuss at least a little bit about what's going on with this coronavirus. Now, that being said, let's bring some reason into the discussion. Sally, why do you think, just for a second, why do you think the media is in absolute hysterics over this coronavirus? Why is it? Probably because it's election season, right? Probably because it's time for politicians to be doing things. And as the economy is supposed to be growing and booming and President Trump's supposed to be that great savior of it, and the Democrats are trying to attack him on it, they're going to attack him for not doing well covering up the coronavirus, not being able to contain it, and then the economy is going to take a tank because he was unfit to actually deal with the coronavirus. At the same time, they threaten him because he's not able to that he's been cutting funding from the CDC and that we don't have enough money in the federal government to take care of these programs. You know that's going to happen, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. We have a lot to get to today. I'm going to try and cram in as much as we can, but between the coronavirus issue, between Super Tuesday that happened yesterday, which I did okay with my predictions. We came in, I guess, at 50% with the states that I called, at least. We got really, really close to some of the numbers across some of the states and the delegate counts, but at the same time, we didn't do too well in other places. So we won some, you lose some. What do you do? So we'll cover that. We'll get your thoughts on that. March 10th, in a week from now, is the next round of primaries and caucuses across many other different states, and we'll cover that here in just a minute as well. Plus, I want to try and get into the healthcare debate for a second, as it is coronavirus time, and as Bernie Sanders and the Democrats talk about free health care for everybody, I thought it'd be kind of appropriate that we talk about healthcare. So we'll do that here in just a minute. But for just a second, and by the way, we got a lot of people chatting up on the Facebook and the Podbean live stream right now, so welcome to that. I appreciate that very much. Whiskey is not working. No, it is not working, which means we just need more of it, right? See, I like where your minds go. You just need more of it to try and kick this thing. No, it's weird because I don't even feel sick. I just feel annoyed by it, which could be either like the storm's brewing or I'm on the uptrend. I'm not sure which one is actually happening as of yet. Anyways, the coronavirus. Why is it such a big issue? We played a clip and we've read up on this, and most people maybe have looked into this a little bit and be like, oh my gosh, what's the coronavirus? What is this? Is it killing people off? Is it destroying people? What's going on here? You have China that's being shut down. So far, according to Johns Hopkins University, there have been a total of 95,000 cases confirmed of the coronavirus worldwide. 95,000. Technically 95,124 as it continues to update, and it updated about a half hour ago. According to Johns Hopkins, 95,000 confirmed cases. Out of how many of those do you think there have been a total of deaths of? I mean, there's 9 deaths confirmed in the United States so far. Total worldwide, there's been a total of 3,254 deaths of the coronavirus. Sad, yes. Devastating, yes. But out of the norm, not necessarily. What we forget to talk about, and what the media doesn't want to talk about, and again, I'm not trying to like calm this down or tone down the rhetoric. Well, I am, because it doesn't need to be there. Do we do this for the flu every single day? The coronavirus is nothing more than a crazy strand of the flu that's a little bit stronger that is harming people and making them sick. And it could be anything from SARS to the common head cold. Hint, hint, wink, wink, which is why I think that I have the coronavirus. But a total of 3,254 deaths have been caused by the coronavirus. Do you know how many people die from the flu each and every year? Worldwide? Anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 people worldwide die each year from the flu. We've had 3,000 deaths from the coronavirus. Why is this making the news? We have an average of 36 to 50,000 people that die from the flu each year just in the United States of America. So far, we've had 9. Yes, it's something we need to be concerned about. Yes, wash your hands. Yes, be cleansely. Yes, don't go to a lot of public venues. Yes, use common sense because there is a virus going out there making people very sick. It's mostly attacking children because their immune systems are low, and it's mostly attacking elderly individuals because their immune system is low. It's mostly attacking their lungs, and it's making them have pneumonia, and it's attacking from their cold to attacking their to attacking their lungs to give them pneumonia or whatever else they have with lung issues that makes it difficult to breathe. That's what's killed many people off. But 3,000 worldwide and 9 in the United States is nothing to panic about, and the media is hyping it up. Now the question is, why is the media hyping it up? Because President Trump's the president of the United States, because he's tried to cut funding for the CDC, because he's put Mike Pence in charge of handling the coronavirus, and they don't like any of that going into an election season. Pure and simple, period, end of story, exclamation point. That's all it is. That's all it is. So yes, let's talk about the coronavirus. Let's talk about being cleansely. Let's talk about washing our hands, not rubbing our face after you shake someone's hand or something. Do common sense things, but at the same time, stop the fear tactics. Stop this. That's what the doctor was going to talk about tonight, and we'll try and get him on later on in the show to get a little more in-depth. But just from what we've seen, this is not just me making numbers up. This is Johns Hopkins University. 51,000 people have totally recovered from the coronavirus. And it shows exactly where. It's really cool. If you get on Drudge Report right now, you can actually see the sick map, and it'll bring it up, and it'll show you the map of the world. It'll show you the deaths by country. The majority of them, 2,871 of them, have been from the mainland China, where they've died. Also, the vast majority of them that have been healed have been from the mainland in China, 51,000 of them. That means, yeah, it's majoritively over there. We have a few on the East Coast, a few on the West Coast in the United States. 9 people have died. I think the majority of them have been in the state of Washington and in California. California just confirmed their own case. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But come on. Stop the hype, man. Stop the fear tactics. It's the politics of fear, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. People get sick, the flu happens, and unfortunately people really die from it, which I didn't know you could die from the flu, but apparently over 500,000 people die from it every single year in the world. So give me a break that this is going to be some crazy natural disaster. And they run the stories about China and their manufacturing going down, and that it's just a desert there. Which there's been a theory. Let's put the conspiracy theory hat on for just a second. The theory has been that the coronavirus was pulled out of the lab and spread across the planet, or spread across especially China, because of the protests that were going on. How long did those protests happen for? Trying to fight for democracy, trying to fight the Chinese government. It was going en masse, and then all of a sudden, boom, coronavirus is there, and now everybody's staying at home and staying in their houses and not contacting anybody. That's crazy. So there is the conspiracy theory that I don't know that that's necessarily the case. The rumor is that it actually came from a fish or from an animal that someone bought at a market and then ate, and then they just kind of transcribed it elsewhere, because the coronavirus is originally from animals. And the animals are actually the carriers of the coronavirus, and somehow it got transferred to humans, probably by eating an animal in China. And it spread elsewhere. But let's be serious here. The coronavirus, yes, it's something to look at and be like, oh, okay. But we don't talk about influenza A as it's spiraling out of control and 5,000 people died in the world so far. We don't talk about it. We're just like, oh, it's the flu. That sucks. And then more people died from that than the coronavirus. So let's bring some common sense back into that discussion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you like the hype of it. I don't know. Maybe you think Donald Trump isn't handling it appropriately. I don't know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts if that is the case. Do you think he's handling it appropriately? He's handed it off to Vice President Mike Pence, who's working with the Senate He's working with the CDC and saying, let's figure out what's going on here. Let's try and keep it contained. Actually, I did hear a story, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but apparently someone who shook the hands of Mike Pence just a few days ago got confirmed to have the coronavirus. So now they're concerned that Mike Pence is going to get the coronavirus. They don't know whether they shook his hand while he was actually active or not, because apparently the coronavirus stays dormant in your system for 2 weeks before you even see symptoms of it. And that's something that now is, I guess, a concern for Mike Pence and that issue. Now, again, he's relatively healthy. If he does get sick, it'll be like the flu where he gets sick for a while and then he'll come back from it. But you know that if that's the theory, Democrats and the Twitter thing is going to go absolutely crazy, because they're going to be all about the whole let's try and get Vice President Mike Pence and President Donald Trump sick and die from the coronavirus, so that way they don't have to worry about them coming up in the election in November. You know that they're going to think that, because that's the hate mongers that go on in Twitter. All right, we'll take a quick break here. Enough of the coronavirus. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's the flu, and it's sad people are dying, but in retrospect to the rest of it, there's really not a whole lot that's going on there that's anything worse than the average flu. When we come back, I want to get into Super Tuesday, talk about the upcoming elections. How did we do with our predictions, and how did you do with yours? We'll get into all that and more. Do me a favor. We scheduled it on Friday morning, is when the newsletter is going to come out for the Voice of Reason, the Hoosierholic newsletter. So you have today and tomorrow. Subscribe to the newsletter. Do me a favor. Go to HoosierReason.com. HoosierReason.com. You can subscribe. That way you can get the monthly newsletter. When you get topical issues about the show, you'll get information about the show. We're not going to bombard your email, I promise you, but it's free, and you can get updates about the show on what we're doing day in and day out. So tune into it. Go to HoosierReason.com. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you can get all the latest and greatest from the show. All that and more, it's coming up here on the Hoosier Media Network. It's the Voice of Reason on a Wednesday. Lots to get to. Stay here.
It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together, we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out, or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosierholic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosierholic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events, all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to join the show? We'd love to hear your thoughts during the program. And it's easy. First, send us a chat on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming during the show anytime. Also, join us in the live chat room at HoosierReason.com. Just click on the Listen Live tab, watch the live stream, and chat with other listeners. You can also chat and even call into the show through the Podbean app. Just download the Podbean app on your smartphone, join the live stream, chat with other listeners, and even call us live through the Podbean app. You can argue with me, debate with me, or just let me know your thoughts of the show. No matter how you do it, be part of the show. Why? Because it's your show, and it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Voice of Reason, the show where you can chat, comment, or call in live each day during the program. All the information's at HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason. I know it's a lot, but make sure to join us and follow us on all the social media platforms you use for all your updates. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. Just search Hoosier Reason on all the platforms. Watch live shows, information about the show, the latest chat about current events, and more. Just search Hoosier Reason on any of your favorite social media sites and keep some reason in your day. It's kind of the reasonable thing to do. It's the Voice of Reason all over social media. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying the Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to the Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Hoosier Media Network.
All right, hey, welcome back into the program here on the Hoosier Media Network. It's a Wednesday, so apparently there's an issue with the Podbean live stream. It's weird. I go onto the app and I try and click onto it, and it says we're live, and then I click on it and it says the live stream has finished, but yet it still shows that it's live, so it's odd. I think there's a Podbean issue, so if you're trying to listen there, I apologize. Obviously, you're not going to hear me if you're trying to get on the TuneIn or the Podbean app, but we are streaming all over the other place, which you can watch my pretty face on video, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Just don't mind me if, I start getting all, red-eyed and, about to sneeze or something. That's crazy. So, apparently, and I'm starting to see some of the comments through Facebook, that apparently it was from a bat bite that caused the coronavirus. I was not aware of that one. The last doctor that gave his input in his prediction thought that it came from, eating a fish or eating some type of animal over in China that it caused this. But apparently it was a bat, which you do not want to eat bats, because I'm not Ozzy Osbourne, and I do not bite the heads off of bats, as entertaining as that may or may not be for News Talk Radio. But hey, there you go. So, don't get bit by a bat. And I guess that is the big hoopla for the day. But yeah, use your common sense. If you're concerned about a virus, then stay away from large crowds. Don't go to large crowd venues. Don't go to the mall. And I'm not trying to discourage you from going and shopping or anything, because then shoppers will be like, what the heck, man? Businesses will be all mad at me. But just stay away from large crowds. Don't go to a crazy public venue and walk around there and touch people and shake their hands and then lick your fingers or something, because that would just be really gross in the first place. But you don't want to get sick from that either. Apparently the Bond movie has changed their release date from next month in April to now pushing it back to November. And the theory apparently is, from what I've heard, is that Daniel Craig, since this is his last James Bond movie, he wanted to do a tour around the world to help promote it, but yet he does not want to go to those nations like China that have the coronavirus and that there's that big outspread, or afraid that people won't show up to the movie theater to actually watch it. So James Bond, and I talked to a lot of people at work today where they were very upset about that fact, that it was delayed from being released in a month to now being pushed back to November of this year. So that's, I guess, a concern and an issue. Maybe other things will be halted for their releasements. All right, enough of that. I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's, to me, just a little ridiculous. So I want to get into, see whether we did well or not with the Super Tuesday delegate count and the votes that happened yesterday compared to our predictions. And how did we fare? Did we do well or did we not do well? So we'll see here. Let's go through them. Alabama, 52 delegates total. We called that one. Joe Biden ended up winning it. And we called exactly how many delegates he got with 40 delegates. All right. Arkansas. We won the state but didn't win the number of delegates. Close, though. Arkansas had 31 delegates. I said Biden would get 20. He got 17. I'd say close enough. That's a victory. All right. California, 416 delegates available. Sanders, we called that one for the win there, although we didn't get nearly the delegate count right on that one in any way, shape, or form. Colorado, we also called it for Sanders. He did win that one, and not close on the delegates. Massachusetts, we ended up losing. Biden won that one. We called it for Sanders, so Joe Biden winning the state of Massachusetts. Maine has not come out yet. They have not released it, so we're holding off on that one. Maybe, just maybe, we can pull that one off. Minnesota, we thought Bernie Sanders would win that one. Joe Biden ended up winning that, so a loss there. North Carolina, we did call that one. Joe Biden winning that with a total of 110 delegates available in the state. Oklahoma has not yet come out either, which is very strange to me. Tennessee, we won the state, calling it for Joe Biden, and that was very true. The state of Texas, Bernie Sanders did not win that one, so we lost that one. Joe Biden winning the state of Weird. Usually, and again, I'm no expert. I'm not the political analyst that's on TV saying, well, this is exactly how the countdown begins, but this is my speculation. And usually in states that are hard right or hard left, and the opposition that's in the minority goes a little bit further to the fringe on a little bit more extreme ideology because they're frustrated. Happened in Kansas, where in 2016 overwhelmingly went for Ted Cruz because he was the more conservative constitutionalist candidate, and overwhelmingly went for Bernie Sanders on the other side as well. Bernie Sanders is very welcomed in Kansas for the Democrat side. Now, there's not as many Democrats. In fact, there are more registered independents and unaffiliated voters in Kansas than there are actual registered Democrats, which they do not like that, but that doesn't mean that we know exactly which side they go for. Bernie Sanders came to a rally in Wichita when I was there and brought in close to 2,000 people. So, you know what? There is a crowd for that. I figured Texas would be the same. Although, at the same time, maybe Democrats, I don't know, I've never been to Texas. Maybe Democrats in Texas are like, yeah, we may be Democrats, but we're still moderates, and we'd like the old guard back in there with someone like Joe Biden. In the state of Utah, we ended up losing that one. We called it for Joe Biden, and Sanders won that one. So, not good on that one. In the state of Virginia, also, Joe Biden won that. We called it for Sanders, so boo on that one. And the state of Vermont, Bernie Sanders did win that. That's his home state, as figured. So, there it is. Grand total for this one. We had a 50-50, I guess, win, batting at 500 for the state. 7 out of 14, but 2 of them not been called yet, so we could go up on that one. After last night, Joe Biden rounded off with 566 delegates, Bernie Sanders at 501, Elizabeth Warren at 61, Michael Bloomberg. We called this one. Michael Bloomberg, we said would have 54 delegates by the end of the night. He had 53 delegates by the end of the night, so I say we pretty darn close on that one. Buttigieg wraps up at 26, even though he's out of the race. And Michael Bloomberg, the big news that came out today, said that he has officially withdrawn his run for the presidency of the United States for Michael Bloomberg, which is odd to me. Why would you jump at, which I guess it's pocket change for him, but why would you jump in, spend close to $500 million of your own money in like a 2 weeks time, and then be like, all right, I'm out. Why would you do that? I guess you have nothing better to do with your money. I don't know. I don't have billions of dollars to just throw away, but Michael Bloomberg, either it was just a game to him where he'd like, let me just test the waters and give it a shot. Usually if you do that, you plan way early in advance, like 2 years out in advance, and you start putting out the feelers, you start paying for some polling, you start seeing how you can do, and you kind of push yourself that way. Then you jump in, and to everybody else, it's like, surprise. And you're like, I've been planning this for 2 years, but hey, here I am. And that's usually how campaigns work, which there's nothing wrong with it. That's just the way it is. But he did it a little bit weird. He kind of jumped in last minute, said he wanted to do it, that he'd have the potential Hillary Clinton run. He tried to throw that idea out there, whether it was his or the DNC's, doesn't really matter. Had that idea, sunk in $400 to $500 million into a campaign for like a 3-week run, month run, and then it disappeared. Just all gone. So that makes me think either this was his, which he's a multi-billionaire, he's a business guy. Come on, he can't think about things irrationally and just be like, I'm just going to do this today. Maybe, but that's highly unlikely. Usually you don't work with business very well that way. So either, here's my theory, put on the tinfoil hat again for us. Either he's doing that to set up a run for an independent run, which is possible, and the Democrats are very fearful of that. Or this was his feeler in the test run to jump in for another race in 4 years. And that very well could be as well. If he's running in 4 years, then this was his testing. Throw the money out there. It's a hateful, we just hate everybody right now. It was bad timing with Donald Trump being president and a billionaire in the office, which many Democrats do not like. So it was bad timing for him. He realized, you know what? I threw the money out there, tested the waters, going to get ready for it in 4 years. I don't know. Maybe we're completely wrong, but I think he's setting something up. I don't know one way or another. We got to give a kudos to Jill Biden, though. Because Jill Biden, as Joe Biden was on the campaign stage and was talking and doing his thing, there was a angry vegan. I love the term angry vegan. Does that make you feel good? Just kind of feel nice and warm inside. An angry vegan that apparently tried to storm the stage, that had the sign, "Let Dairy Die," might be the same ones that like went to the AOC town hall meeting that said we all need to eat babies. Maybe there is a fan of Joaquin Phoenix where they said that we shouldn't be producing milk for us to drink, but giving the milk to the baby cows because we're letting the baby cows starve for some reason. I mean, that was the Joaquin Phoenix speech just a few weeks ago. But there was an angry vegan that tried to storm the stage, and Jill Biden ended up doing the block, kind of the bodyguard block from Joe Biden, so that way he couldn't get pushed aside and let them run rampant. So that's kind of entertaining. That was about all the excitement that happened last night with Super Tuesday and with some of the speeches, because it's a bit of a shock that Joe Biden won when Bernie Sanders was up in the polls in every single one of these. So again, we have two options. Number one, the polling is completely off, which is very likely because you can see how well it worked for the Democrats in the 2016 presidential election, giving Donald Trump a 2% chance of winning on election day. So the polling's probably completely off. But I'm wondering, and again, put on the tinfoil hat, the conspiracy theory, whatever you want to think. I'm wondering how much of that was fabricated by the Democrats because they do not want Bernie Sanders to win. Bernie Sanders should have won Maine and Massachusetts. Bernie Sanders should have won Minnesota. Bernie Sanders, I think, again, in my opinion, should have won Texas. He was up in the polls on all of them. Michael Bloomberg was up in the polls and either tied with second or third in just about every one of the polls, and look how poorly he did. Bernie Sanders should have done better yesterday than what he did. Now they say, well, that's just the way it is. I saw some tweets coming out saying that what he needs to do now is actually get a running mate that would actually be a black female, so that way we could pander to the black audience and to the woman audience and try to expand that way, because that's not racist or sexist at all, is it? We just need to find not the ideas, but just the demographic of somebody to try to appeal to a bigger crowd, so that way Bernie Sanders has a better chance. When Republicans do it, then that's being the Uncle Tom and trying to use them as a prop and doing terrible things. That's racist. When Democrats do it, it's just trying to appeal to them, right? I love that. So I did see that coming out from almost elected officials that were actually making those kind of comments. But what would Bernie Sanders need to do to try and pull back and actually gain some momentum? They're calling it the greatest comeback with these primaries. Super Tuesday. Joe Biden down in every poll. He walked out of New Hampshire before the election night was over. He campaigned hard in South Carolina. This was, to them, according to the media, the greatest comeback any Democrat has done in the primaries ever before. He was tanking in the polls, and all of a sudden, look at that, he won them. Ha! I call fishy shenanigans on there. I call what Joe Biden says is malarkey. There's something fishy going on. So how does Bernie Sanders come back? Does he struggle and find a way to get the nomination before the convention? Because he will not get the nomination if it goes to a brokered convention, which is in July. They need 1,991 delegates. Right now, Bernie Sanders has 500. He's got a long way to go. And again, in a week from now, we got a lot more states that come out. But he's got a long way to go, and so is Joe Biden. But with that kind of comeback, with the polling showing otherwise, their own polls, Democrat polls, showing otherwise, the things that make you go, the things that make you just think that something weird is kind of going on. We'll get your thoughts on that and more when we come back. We're broadcasting live all over the place. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, doesn't really matter where you're at. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. It is very interesting. If Joe Biden, here's the question for you, and no matter where you may be listening, shoot me a message here. Leave a comment. Who do you think is going to be the running mate for Joe Biden and for Bernie Sanders? If Bernie Sanders wants to kick his campaign into high gear and try and increase the momentum and the energy to really pull it off and force the Democrat establishment out, who does he need to get a running mate to actually make that happen? I don't know. Is it someone crazy like AOC? That would be hysterical, but I don't know if that's what he's going to do. Or is he going to try and find somebody moderate to bring in the Joe Biden supporters and break them away? This is about the time where usually in a campaign, they find a running mate that's going to help them increase their momentum to get them over that hurdle. Joe Biden's going to do the same thing. Bernie Sanders is going to do the same thing as well. So in your mind, as a Republican looking outside in, we have the perfect objective right now. Unless you're a Democrat and you want to who you'd like to see. But as a third-party objector looking into the party, watching this, eating the popcorn, watching them destroy themselves, for Bernie's sake, who would he need to choose as a running mate to energize the base or to pull people away from Biden? And for Biden, who should he choose for a running mate to actually get him over that that finish line. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to watch either way. I don't know if he's going to choose someone like a Elizabeth Warren, which would make sense. If he's going to go to the old guard like Hillary Clinton, which would be very interesting. And the same thing with Bernie Sanders. Who's he going to choose? Is he going to go with someone like a Tulsi Gabbard to bring in that moderate crowd? Although she's not polling well, and she has one delegate, so she's very happy about that. But who's he going to choose? Is he going to go for a radical like AOC and say, we're about all progressivism, the party needs to get behind progressivism, and I'm going to find the most progressive candidate to run with me? Democrats, again, will hate that. Hate that because they want to diversify. Republicans do it too. They want to diversify. Yesterday we talked about the yin and the yang that President Trump and Mike Pence have, and it was the perfect combo to bring in the sketchy, concerned conservatives that weren't sure about President Trump. It was the lock-in deal. Yes, we love Pence. Bernie Sanders has to do that to win over the moderate establishment Democrats to make him feel more comfortable. Who would that be? Would that be a Pete Buttigieg? Would that be an Elizabeth Warren? Would that be a Kamala Harris or a Tulsi Gabbard? I don't know. Or would he go to the fringe and try and find somebody as radical as he is? We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay here. It's the Voice of Reason here on the Hoosier Media Network.
It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together, we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosier-holic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosier-holic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying the Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to the Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to join the show? We'd love to hear your thoughts during the program. And it's easy. First, send us a chat on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming during the show anytime. Also, join us in the live chat room at HoosierReason.com. Just click on the Listen Live tab, watch the live stream, and chat with other listeners. You can also chat and even call into the show through the Podbean app. Just download the Podbean app on your smartphone, join the live stream, chat with other listeners, and even call us live through the Podbean app. You can argue with me, debate with me, or just let me know your thoughts of the show. No matter how you do it, be part of the show. Why? Because it's your show, and it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Voice of Reason, the show where you can chat, comment, or call in live each day during the program. All the information's at HoosierReason.com.
Live from the Hoosier Media Studios, it's the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
That makes me happy, and it should make you happy as well. Hey, welcome back into the program here on the Hoosier Media Network. Great to have you along for the ride today. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, by the way. We have the podcast on just about every podcast source that there is out there. You can always go to the Podbean app, of course, HoosierReason.podbean.com, and you can subscribe directly. You can also go to the website at HoosierReason.com and find the link there as well, if that's just too much. But if you are a listener to Google Play now has the Google Podcast, which means you should be able to find it on like your Alexa or whatever other device that you may have. But you can find it there. If you have iTunes, then you can subscribe there and have it automatically downloaded. We upload the show about 10 minutes after the show anyways. We upload the podcast, so you can download it then. If you have Spotify, you can have it downloaded to you there as well. Doesn't really matter where you're at. We have it just about everywhere. So make sure to check it out. Go to HoosierReason.com. You can find more information on that, where to find the show, what sources that we are on, and if you like the podcast. Here's the interesting aspect, and me being a radio nerd as I am, I love radio. Love radio. I got into radio very early. I went to college and spent way too much money on student loans trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I will never forget this. Here's a little side story for you. I'll never forget this. I was sitting in the mentor's office, one of the professors with whatever you want to major in. You have that mentor or that, I guess, college tutor or whatever it is, to where they say, all right, what do you want to do with your degree? What direction do you want to go? What classes do you want to take? I was sitting in his office, and he was a political science professor because I was majoring in political science. And I told him I have no idea what I want to do. He's like, okay. And I think he got annoyed with me. I never had his class, but he seemed kind of one of those intimidating kind of guys. And he's like, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. And he goes, well, okay, what classes do you want to take? I said, I don't know. Maybe I want to run for office one day. And he kind of, I'll never forget this. He kind of rolled his eyes, and he's like, okay, well, you're a freshman, so you can figure it out. Come back when you know more about what you want to do and once you figure it out. And I went to college for 2 years at Bowling Green State University. And the second year, I was sitting there, and I was listening to talk radio, listening to it. That's all I did, listen to talk radio. I was part of the College Republicans. I was kind of sort of going to classes. I was running the College Republicans. And then I was listening to talk radio, and an opportunity came up. Don't even remember how I figured it out, but an opportunity came up about the campus radio station, and how they usually only have shows for communication majors, but they were going to open up time slots to just anybody, whether you were part of the communications department or not. And I don't even remember how I heard about this, but I said, you know what, that would be fun. I want to try talk radio. So I went in and I talked to them. I said, yeah, all right, we'll give you a show. It's like 2 to 4 in the morning. Like, great. All right. Well, I'm not going to class anyways. Whatever. I'll just come back and sleep for the rest of the day. Ha! Because that's the smart thing to actually do. And ended up finding what I enjoyed, which is why I left and ended up going to a broadcasting school. And I found that kind of interesting. I don't even remember where I was going with this story, but that's okay. It's all right. But nonetheless, you need to find your passion. You need to find that. You need to do that. I don't remember where I was going with that story. Doesn't really matter. All right, question. We have some comments coming up on social media right now about who would be the proper candidates or the running mates with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And really, it's from just Bernie Sanders, of course, needs to have that black woman run, so that way we can get that demographic, check the boxes, off of that. We need maybe Hispanic to run with Joe Biden to appeal to that crowd. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Bernie Sanders as well, because, Bernie Sanders would be able to appeal to that. He believes in the open borders and all that garbage, so I guess that could work. I don't know. Kind of strange. Coming up for after Super Tuesday, the next elections are on March 10th for the primaries and caucuses in different states, going from Idaho, Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi, North Dakota, and the state of Washington. All those coming up on March 10th. On the 12th, 2 days after that, would be Guam and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I didn't even know that they had delegates, but they only have them for Republicans, so maybe there's only Republicans there. I don't know. That's kind of cool. Then you have March 14th, where you have a few others as well. But March 10th is the next big one, and those are going to be the big ones, I think, when it comes to the middle of the country. Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi, North Dakota, Washington, Idaho. This is the center of the nation, and the Democrats are going to look very closely at the center of the nation. Why? Because they want to try and win those. They need to pull those away from Donald Trump. Republicans predominantly dominate those states, right? Except for Michigan, which was a big surprise and a shock when Donald Trump did win that in the 2016 election. But these are the middle of the country. And if they go on the fringe, it's going to be more difficult for the Democrats to win that in the general election. If they go more towards the center, maybe they have a chance. So they're going to push for a Bernie Sanders in these states. It's whether it actually happens or not. Because I don't know if it will. I think that Bernie Sanders might be able to steal, though. I bet you that he will win Michigan because of the auto union. The unions love Bernie Sanders. I bet you he's probably going to win the state of Washington. Jay Inslee, the governor up there, as he tried to run for president, is an extreme left progressive. They went to the $15, $20 an hour minimum wage up there. They are crazy in Seattle in that state. Now, there's other places around Seattle, obviously, in the state of Washington, but I think that they'll probably go towards Bernie Sanders. The rest of them will probably go towards Joe Biden. So it'll be a toss-up to see what happens. Next week, we'll pay really close attention to that one. All right, I want to take one more break. We'll wrap up the show. We're working on the voice here. We're working on it little by little. It's getting better little by little as well. Do me a favor. Go to HoosierReason.com. That's what I went to do. That's what we were talking about, was the pod site and the podcast. Anyways, the podcast is growing. Last month, we saw some of the numbers. We had downloads in almost every single state in the nation, which is really cool. And we've only been doing this for a month and a half, which is really humbling and really neat. So keep it up. Keep subscribing. We're all over the place. Go to HoosierReason.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Find us all at our handle at Hoosier Reason on all of those platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz. Find us at Hoosier Reason. You'll be able to follow us with all the great news and all that great stuff. We'll take a break. We'll wrap up. When we come back, I want to talk about actually a topical issue for the night as well, which is healthcare. What's going to go on with the healthcare industry? There is a story out trying to slam the U.S. healthcare industry. Of course, it's the media, and it's election time, and we want universal healthcare. So, of course, they're going to do that. But there's some interesting stories about how many people are not paying for their pharmaceuticals because they can't afford it, and then how much money goes to the bureaucracy in the healthcare industry. And they try to say that other nations that have universal healthcare do it better, and that it actually goes less towards the bureaucracy and more towards the care. Is that the truth? And is that what would happen in the United States? We'll talk about that when we come back here on The Voice of Reason on the Hoosier Media Network.
It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together, we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out, or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosier-holic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosier-holic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to join the show? We'd love to hear your thoughts during the program. And it's easy. First, send us a chat on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming during the show anytime. Also, join us in the live chat room at HoosierReason.com. Just click on the Listen Live tab, watch the live stream, and chat with other listeners. You can also chat and even call into the show through the Podbean app. Just download the Podbean app on your smartphone, join the live stream, chat with other listeners, and even call us live through the Podbean app. You can argue with me, debate with me, or just let me know your thoughts of the show. No matter how you do it, be part of the show. Why? Because it's your show, and it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Voice of Reason, the show where you can chat, comment, or call in live each day during the program. All the information's at HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with The Voice of Reason. I know it's a lot, but make sure to join us and follow us on all the social media platforms you use for all your updates. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. Just search Hoosier Reason on all the platforms. Watch live shows, information about the show, the latest chat about current events, and more. Just search Hoosier Reason on any of your favorite social media sites and keep some reason in your day. It's kind of the reasonable thing to do. It's the voice of reason all over social media. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying the voice of reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to the Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com.
When reason meets radio, it's the voice of reason on the Hoosier Media Network.
All right, here we go, rocking it. Last segment here on the Voice of Reason for a Wednesday on the Hoosier Media Network. Thanks for hanging out. We see some good numbers today, Facebook Live and YouTube. The Podbean, it's weird. Podbean not working as it needs to be. We see more people trying to jump on and more hits that are happening, so that's cool, but for some reason not able to get the stream going. I think it's a Podbean issue. I'll send them a ticket and see. I don't know why it's not actually broadcasting on there. It shows that it's live, and then when you click on it on the app, then it says that the stream is finished. But it still shows that it's live as an available show to click on. While you're still in it, then it shows that it's finished. It's weird. I don't know. So I think it's a Podbean issue they're working on because everything looks fine on this end, and it shows that we're live and cranking, and I can see people jumping in and out as we go. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's all right because we're on other platforms as well. I want to remind you one more time today, and then I'll leave it alone. But if you want to sign up for the newsletter for the show, go to HoosierReason.com. You can find it, become a Hoosierholic. It's right down after the survey that you can take as well, a political survey. You know, get your thoughts on issues, which is really cool. We should really start reading the results of those, which we'll probably start doing on the show as well. But sign up for the newsletter. You'll get a monthly newsletter. Our one for March has not come out yet. It will come out on Friday, so you have today and tomorrow to do it if you have not done so yet. But subscribe. It's totally free, and I'm not going to bog down your email. Just a once-a-month monthly newsletter, plus maybe one or two emails throughout the month, if that, just to talk to you about some interesting information going on with the show. That's it. All right, that's all that we have for that one because I don't want to beat that dead horse too terribly much. Real quickly, let's get into a topical issue. I want to tease it, and we can talk about it more in depth tomorrow. But there was a breakdown by state on how many people within the states try and skip their medications because they're too costly. And there's a lot of states that have close to 45% of the population that need medications that don't do it because it's too costly. States like Texas, which is really weird. Minnesota is one of them as well. Colorado is up there, which is strange because I thought they had the universal health care system that all the progressives wanted to fix. Yeah, see how that one worked out for you. But it's all over, all different kinds of states, and some states are better than others. At the same time, where you can't afford your pharmaceuticals, we're talking about a universal health care system where they want to give it to you, but at the same time, they want to tax you immensely. Let me ask you something. If you have Medicaid, not Medicare because you're elderly and you have that, but if you have Medicaid, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that Medicaid does not cover pharmaceuticals. You have to pay for your own prescription still. Maybe it's state by state, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. And as you get taxed, if you may have low income or you have disability or you have some type of issue or whatever it is, and you're on it, I'm pretty sure that still doesn't cover your pharmaceutical, which means that's still extremely expensive for you. I know people that cannot purchase insulin, which is ridiculous. In the pharmaceutical, we can talk about the pharmaceutical industry. We can talk about how much money they make and how much they're trying to gouge us or what they're trying to do. But you can get the off-brands of medication where it's like a knockoff brand by like 2 or 3 times to make it relatively cheap and do the same thing. I know that President Trump has been working on this, which is why he did the transparency bill that's going to help. He's also gone after the pharmaceutical industry a little bit. No one else, everybody talks about it, but no one's actually done it before. President Trump's starting to do that. And even Democrats are like, yeah, all right, someone's addressing this. And he's got a lot more in store. Obamacare, let me tell you right off the bat, government health care and Obamacare made the pharmaceutical industry what it is today. Now, they were already strong before. But that created an opioid crisis that has taken a whole nother level in this nation because of Obamacare. Andy, that's not true. Actually, it is. Because what happens now when you go to the doctor? Do they really spend the time like they used to? That mom and pop practice that's trying to stay in business, if they are still in business, are they actually taking the time doing 5 different tests, doing different scans, really taking their time, spending an hour with you to really look at every single issue and every possible solution? Are they really doing that now? Show of hands, how many people actually do that? They actually see that when you go to the doctor. Very few do that today. And kudos are the ones that still do. But what do the other ones do? The younger doctors predominantly. You can see the age gap in these. The older doctors are like, hell no, Barack Obama did a terrible thing with the economy. We don't want anything to do with that. We don't want Obamacare. We don't want government health care. It's terrible. I want to spend quality time with my patients. The younger doctors, go to the doctor and see. The younger doctors are about the textbook. Oh, these are your symptoms. That equals punch, solution. Here's a prescription. There you go. Have a nice day. They caused this. They don't want to look at you. They're trying to cut back costs from not doing tests, from not doing scans. There's no anomaly here. There's no crazy mystery here. Textbook, baby. Textbook. You have the textbook symptoms of what it is. Therefore, boom, that's what you have. Here's the medication. Write it out. Have a nice day. Come back if you have more issues. That's the way government healthcare runs. That's what Canada does. You ever see the interview with one of the MMA fighters, UFC fighters that are out of Canada? And I'm not knocking the Canadian healthcare system, but that's just kind of an example. There have been 2 or 3 different Canadian UFC fighters to where when they get pulverized in an octagon, they get interviewed and they're like, yeah, I come to the United States for my treatment because I don't want to wait a week to get it done. Maybe free, but I come to the U.S. because I want it done now. I'm in pain now. I don't want to have to deal with it later. Pharmaceutical industry went up. Skyrocketed after Obamacare. And we want to go further down that road? I just don't get that. Then you see something like Reuters.com where they run this story. More than a third of U.S. healthcare costs go to the bureaucracy. Andy, what do you mean by that? Well, here's what the story says. U.S. insurers providers spend more than $800 billion back in 2017 on administration, which is nearly $2,500 per person, more than 4 times the per capita administrative costs in Canada's single-payer system, according to the new study. Excuse me. Which means what? Which means when you pay for your healthcare bill, the majority of it doesn't go towards the actual treatment that you got, but goes towards the administration to process the paperwork. Now, that could be just an inefficient system. That could be a number of things. But $2,500 a person, which is, according to them, 4 times more than what you pay for the actual operation or the cost of whatever in the Canadian single-payer system. Let me ask you a question. If that's the case, maybe Canada has a better administrative government than ours, because every time that we've tried to create a agency or a department or some type of program, then the government kind of bloats itself up to where we have 1,000 people running that agency and we have no way of decreasing that size. If we increase Medicaid, or if we increase Medicare, if we do the universal healthcare system that Bernie Sanders is proposing, how many administrators do you think they have to hire to process all that? To process the applications, to process the people that are on it, to process the people transitioning from private insurers to that? How many administrators do you think are actually going to have to be hired to do that? And do you think that we're really going to be cutting any costs? Well, and it's going to be free, but your taxes are going to go up to 60%. That's what it's going to do. But do you really think it's going to solve it? Probably not. We have to think through these things sometimes. Yes, our current system is not the ideal situation. Our current system is not the best system we could possibly have, and we need to address that. We need to look at it. At the same time, let's use some common sense on what's actually going to happen if we end up trying to go full-on government healthcare, and I guarantee you that the administrative cost is going to be the same, if not more, because of that system. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. All right, that's all the time we have for today. It's a Wednesday. My voice is going, so I think that's the time that we wrap up. Tomorrow, Eric Rittmeyer. He's been a great guest on the program before. He is a mental psychologist expert, how to toughen your mind up for the political realm. He'll be talking to us about the show and about the elections and more. Until then, it's your show. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. Everybody have a great night.